everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into some fascinating sources today.
Yeah.
All about how Himachal Pradesh
Okay.
could boost its tourism industry to potentially rival Switzerland.
Wow, that's ambitious.
Yeah, and you guys sent us some really interesting sources that compare the two regions. And we're really excited to unpack all the insights and see what we can learn.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they came up with.
Yeah. Get ready for some surprising projections
Okay.
and some district-specific strategies
Right.
that could really change the game for Himachal.
I'm all ears.
So it is really interesting how these sources use Switzerland as kind of a benchmark
Right.
for Himachal Pradesh.
Makes sense.
Both regions have these stunning landscapes
Yeah,
and similar climates.
definitely.
But Switzerland's tourism revenue is significantly higher.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
Exactly.
What's their secret? What are they doing that Himachal Pradesh isn't?
That is the million-dollar question, and that's what we're going to unpack today.
Right.
But the sources don't just point out the gap, right? They actually offer a 10-point plan
Interesting.
for Himachal Pradesh to kind of reach
Hey.
this tourism dominance.
Okay, let's hear it.
And some of these points might sound familiar, but it's the details that make all the difference. So we're talking things like world-class infrastructure,
Of course, that's essential.
a huge focus on sustainability,
Absolutely can't forget about that.
expanding tourism offerings beyond the typical seasons, so year-round tourism,
Makes sense.
and attracting those high-spending travelers.
Got to get those big spenders.
Exactly.
So, sustainable infrastructure, huh? What exactly do they mean by that?
Yeah, so what really stands out to me is they're not just talking about building luxurious hotels.
Right.
It's about doing so in a way that respects the natural beauty and the resources of Himachal Pradesh.
I like that.
It's about responsible growth.
Hey, responsible growth. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not just about building more, it's about building better.
Absolutely.
What else is on that 10-point plan?
Yeah, so they also highlight the need for kind of marketing and branding makeovers,
Okay, gotta have a good image.
enhancing safety and accessibility.
Very important, especially for those high-spending travelers.
Exactly, and investing in education and training for locals.
That's crucial.
Yeah.
Empowering the local community.
Exactly, and we can't forget about collaborating with private companies
Right.
to bring in that expertise and investment.
Public-private partnerships are key.
Yeah, absolutely.
These 10 points, though, I mean, they're not isolated, right? They're
Yeah.
all connected.
Exactly.
Like, for example, if we want to attract those high-spending tourists, having that top-notch infrastructure
Yeah.
is a must.
Absolutely.
It's all about creating a seamless and comfortable experience from the moment they arrive.
Right.
You know, you want them to feel pampered.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so they've got this 10-point plan, that's great. But how does it actually play out on the ground?
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The sources actually break down their recommendations
Yeah.
for each of Himachal Pradesh's 11 districts.
Wow, that's detailed.
It's super detailed. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
That's smart.
Each district gets its own tailor-made strategy to play to its individual strengths.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, recognizing that each district has its own unique potential.
Absolutely.
And they give the example of Shimla,
Okay, sure.
already a popular destination.
Very popular.
But the sources suggest that they should focus on heritage tourism, winter sports, and luxurious stays
I like it.
to attract a higher spending segment.
Makes sense. Play to your strengths.
Yeah, and this targeted approach, they're saying, could lead to a projected revenue of 3,500 crore rupees annually.
Wow, that's a lot of rupees.
Yeah, it's huge.
That would be a significant boost to the local economy.
It would.
And what about the people living in Shimla?
Exactly, and that's what's so important. It's not just about the money. It's about what that money can do for the people.
Exactly.
So the sources predict that per capita income in Shimla could jump from 3 lakh rupees to 5 lakh rupees.
That's a huge jump.
It is, bringing it closer to Swiss standards of living.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Bringing prosperity to the region.
Exactly.
It's not just about tourism, it's about improving lives.
It's about improving lives, exactly.
So we've talked about Shimla. What about some of the other districts?
Yeah, so they talk about Manali
Okay, Manali, beautiful place.
with its stunning Bees River Valley. It's already an adventure hub,
It is, yeah.
but the sources envision it
yeah,
becoming a haven for not just adventure seekers,
okay.
but also wellness enthusiasts
Interesting.
and even digital nomads.
Digital nomads in Manali.
Yeah, they actually suggest it.
Oh, that's a new twist.
It is a new twist.
So you're picturing people working remotely amidst the Himalayas.
Exactly.
I can see it.
It's not just a dream, it's a potential reality.
I like it.
And then what about Lahal Spiti with its untouched landscapes
Oh, the Hal Spiti, now you're talking.
and high altitude adventures?
That's where it's at.
Right.
For a certain type of traveler, of course.
Yeah.
Those who are seeking something really special.
So Lahal Spiti is a perfect example of how focusing on a niche market can yield incredible results. The sources suggest attracting those high-spending travelers,
Of course.
seeking those adventure and ecotourism experiences in those pristine environments.
Yeah, it's all about exclusivity, right?
Exactly.
Untouched beauty, unique experiences.
So we're talking things like ice climbing,
Yeah.
heli skiing, exploring ancient monasteries,
Yeah.
nestled amidst those breathtaking scenery.
It's a different world up there.
It is. And the revenue projections actually reflect that exclusivity.
Oh, yeah.
So they're saying Lahal Spiti could generate 1,500 crore rupees annually
Wow.
with per capita income, potentially reaching 3.5 lakh rupees.
That's impressive.
It is. It's the power of niche tourism.
Niche tourism for the win.
But then you have Ceylon, which is strategically located near Chandigarh.
Okay, so Lon, what about them?
So it has a different kind of appeal.
Right.
Imagine strolling through vineyards, sampling local wines,
Okay, listening.
and enjoying the scenic beauty of orchards.
Sounds delightful.
Yeah. So the sources are suggesting developing wine trails and showcasing horticulture
Wine trails, that's a good idea.
to attract both international and domestic tourists.
Yeah, something for everyone.
Exactly.
It's fascinating how each district has such a unique story to tell
It really is.
and a unique path to success.
yeah.
But all these projections, all these strategies, they rely on one crucial element:
What's that?
government support.
Yes, the sources emphasize that the government has this pivotal role to play in facilitating growth.
Of course, they set the stage. They
Yeah.
create the environment for success.
And it's not just about setting a vision, right? It's about taking those concrete actions.
Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly.
So what kind of actions are we talking about?
So we're talking things like tax benefits for tourism businesses,
Okay, that's a good incentive.
subsidies for eco-friendly projects,
It's going to encourage sustainability.
skill training for locals
Investing in the workforce.
to equip them for this tourism boom,
Mm-hmm.
and even impactful marketing campaigns
You got to get the word out.
to put Himachal Pradesh on the global map.
Exactly.
Speaking of the global map, you'll never guess this.
What?
The sources actually suggest branding Himachal Pradesh
Yeah.
as the Switzerland of the East.
The Switzerland of the East, huh?
Yep.
Bold move.
It is a bold move.
But it captures the essence, doesn't it?
It does.
Stunning landscapes, diverse experiences.
A focus on sustainability.
It's all there. And if we connect this back to the Switzerland comparison, it becomes clear that
Yeah.
strategic government support was instrumental in their success.
Absolutely.
So Himachal Pradesh can really learn from this model,
Learn from the best.
using those targeted interventions in each district to fuel that sustainable and inclusive growth. That's the key, sustainable and inclusive.
Now, all this talk about growth in revenue is really exciting,
It is exciting.
but it's equally important to talk about sustainability.
Absolutely, can't forget about that.
And I'm really impressed by how much the sources emphasize maintaining Himachal's natural beauty while pursuing this ambitious tourism vision.
It's a balancing act, isn't it?
It is a balancing act.
But it's essential.
Yeah.
You don't want to destroy the very things that make the place special.
Exactly.
You know, short-term gains can lead to long-term pain.
Right.
So how do they propose to strike that balance?
Yeah, so there's this one powerful line from one of the sources that really resonated with me. And it says, enforce regulations to ensure that tourism growth does not harm natural resources.
I like that, straight to the point.
It's a reminder that while we dream big about tourism revenue,
Yeah.
we can't do it at the expense of the very things that make Himachal Pradesh so special.
Right, it's about protecting the environment for the sake of the environment, but also for the sake of the tourism industry itself.
Yes.
Because if you destroy the environment, you destroy the tourism industry.
Exactly.
So this focus on responsible travel, it aligns perfectly with this growing global trend.
It does.
More and more tourists are seeking these authentic experiences that also contribute to the well-being of the places they visit.
Right, they want to give back.
They want to leave a positive impact.
Right, they want to feel good
That
about
is
where
it.
they're spending their money.
It's about responsible tourism.
So by embracing sustainability, Himachal Pradesh can tap into this market and ensure that long-term health of its tourism industry.
Absolutely, it's a win-win.
It's about finding that sweet spot where economic growth and environmental preservation
Yeah.
go hand in hand.
That's the sweet spot right there.
And it's about creating those opportunities for the people of Himachal Pradesh.
Of course, it's about the people.
The sources estimate that this tourism boom could generate over 8 lakh jobs in the next decade.
Wow, that's a lot of jobs.
It is.
That would be a game changer for the region.
Think about what that means for local communities.
New jobs, increased income, a chance to share their culture and traditions with the world.
Exactly.
It's about empowerment.
But then there's also the other side of that, right?
Uh-oh, there's always another side.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Could rapid tourism development lead to overcrowding, strain on resources, even cultural clashes?
These are all valid concerns.
These are all valid questions.
You know, too much of a good thing can be bad. So
Exactly.
how do we prevent that?
That's what we're going to talk about in the next part of this deep dive.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So stay tuned.
I'll be here. Welcome back to our deep dive into Himachal Pradesh's tourism potential.
We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
but we're just getting started.
Okay, good.
Remember that detailed district by district breakdown?
Yeah, the treasure map
Yeah, it's like a treasure map.
guiding us to each region's unique strength
Exactly.
and how to leverage them for tourism success.
So that's what we're going to do now.
Sounds good.
Let's revisit a few of these districts and really dig into what makes them special.
Ah, okay. Where should we start?
Let's start with Kulu,
Kulu.
specifically Manali.
Okay.
The sources projected to be the top revenue generator for Himachal Pradesh.
Really?
Yeah.
Top revenue generator.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful, but
What's remarkable about Manali is its versatility.
okay.
It
Versatility.
caters to those adventure enthusiasts,
Right.
things like trekking, paragliding, and rafting,
Of course, the Bees River Valley.
and the stunning Bees River Valley.
That's a huge draw.
But it doesn't stop there.
Oh. More.
Imagine finding serenity in a yoga retreat or meditation center,
Okay, I like that.
nestled in the Salon Valley,
Line Valley, beautiful.
surrounded by breathtaking views.
Very peaceful.
And get this,
Okay.
they're even looking to attract digital nomads.
Digital nomads in Manali.
Yeah, the sources suggest creating dedicated co-working and co-living spaces
That's interesting.
with stunning Himalayan backdrops.
I can see it now.
Think about it. You could be working on your next big project while surrounded by those inspiring landscapes.
That's a great selling point.
Yeah, it's a brilliant way to tap into this growing market of remote workers who are seeking a change of pace and a connection with nature.
A change of scenery, literally.
Yeah.
So Manali is going for a holistic approach.
Mm.
Adventure, wellness, remote work.
It seems like it, yeah.
What about spiritual tourism?
That's a good question.
Is there a place for that in Himachal
The
Pradesh?
sources highlight Dharamshala,
Dharamshala.
or more specifically, McLeodganj,
Okay, McLeodganj.
as a global spiritual hub.
Makes sense with the Dalai Lama there.
Yeah, with its strong Tibetan Buddhist influence.
Mm.
And the presence of the Dalai Lama.
Mm.
It already attracts many spiritual seekers.
It does.
But the sources suggest taking it a step further
Okay, how so?
by forming
Yeah.
international Buddhist partnerships,
Mm-hmm.
promoting it as a must-visit destination for those on a spiritual journey.
Interesting. So building on what's already there.
Yeah, they're identifying those existing strengths
Yeah,
and suggesting ways to amplify them on a global scale.
I like that approach.
Speaking of a global audience, the sources also point out Kangra's potential as a medical tourism destination.
Medical tourism, interesting.
Yeah.
What's special about Kangra in that regard?
Kangra is known for its
Yeah.
natural beauty and traditional healing practices,
Mm-hmm.
especially Ayurveda.
Okay, Ayurveda makes sense.
So the sources suggest developing state-of-the-art wellness centers and even upgrading the Kangra airport
Upgrading the airport.
for direct international flights.
So making it easier for people to get there
Exactly.
to attract those seeking alternative healthcare and wellness experiences.
So it's like taking the best of what Kangra already offers
Yeah.
and packaging it for a global audience.
Smart marketing.
Now let's shift gears to a completely different vibe.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Lahal Spiti.
Lahal Spiti.
Lahal Spiti is all about raw, untouched beauty and high-altitude adventures.
It's a special place.
So think ice climbing, heli skiing, and exploring ancient monasteries perched on rugged cliffs.
It's like stepping back in time.
It's about tapping into a niche market of travelers
Yeah.
who value exclusivity and pristine environments.
They're willing to pay a premium
Exactly.
for those kinds of experiences.
And the revenue projections for Lahal Spiti are impressive.
Okay, let's hear them.
The source is estimated could generate 3,000 crore rupees annually.
3,000 crore. That's a lot.
It is, with per capita income reaching 3.5 lakh rupees.
That's a testament to the power of focusing on a specific type of traveler.
Yeah, and offering those unique experiences.
Big experiences. That's the key.
But with that exclusivity comes responsibility.
Oh, of course, we can't forget about that.
The sources emphasize
Mhm.
strict regulations to ensure that tourism development in Lahal Spiti doesn't come at the cost of environmental degradation.
Right, we need to protect what makes it special.
It's about preserving the very things that make it so special. And that's a crucial point. It applies to all districts. The sources consistently stress the need for eco-friendly practices, sustainable infrastructure, and responsible tourism development across the board.
It should be a top priority.
It's not just about economic growth. It's about finding that balance between progress and preservation.
Sustainable development, that's the goal.
So Himachal Pradesh has this unique opportunity to create a tourism model that thrives in harmony with nature. And the sources provide a roadmap for achieving that.
That's what we need, a roadmap.
Speaking of roadmaps, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Government support.
Right, the government plays a crucial role.
The sources outline some specific initiatives that the government could undertake
Yeah,
to boost tourism
yeah,
in each district.
let's hear it.
They are quite detailed in their recommendations, highlighting the government's crucial role in facilitating growth.
Absolutely.
For example, in Shimla,
Okay,
they
Shimla.
suggest
Ready?
allocating funds for restoring heritage sites, developing world-class ski resorts, and even offering subsidies
Subsidies.
to orchard owners
Yeah.
to set up agro-tourism experiences.
No, it's not just about attracting tourists, it's about supporting local businesses
It is.
and creating a diverse range of experiences.
So it's not just about big picture ideas.
Yeah.
It's about those targeted interventions
Yeah.
that cater to each district's strengths.
Right, a tailored approach.
What about Kulu Manali?
Yeah.
Okay, what do they suggest for Kulu Manali?
In Kulu Manali,
Yeah,
the focus is on supporting adventure tourism,
of course.
promoting wellness centers, and even establishing those co-working spaces for digital nomads.
Right, the digital nomads.
It's a multi-pronged approach
Right.
that recognizes the diverse interests of potential tourists.
Absolutely, you got to cater to different tastes.
It's interesting how it tailor their recommendations to each district's unique characteristics.
Yeah, it's not one size fits all.
What other types of government support do they suggest?
Well, besides funding and subsidies.
One area they emphasize is skill development and training
Ah, yes, investing in the workforce.
in districts like Kangra and Chamba. Okay, Kangra and Chamba.
They suggest establishing training centers for hospitality, adventure sports, language skills, and even cultural sensitivity.
That's a good idea, especially the cultural sensitivity part.
A thriving tourism industry needs a skilled workforce.
Absolutely.
And by investing in training, you're empowering locals to actively participate in the economic growth that tourism can bring.
It's about creating opportunities for the local community.
It's about ensuring
Yeah.
that the benefits of tourism are shared widely and that locals have the skills to thrive in this industry.
That's how you make tourism sustainable.
Okay, we talked about district-specific strategies,
Yeah.
government support, and the importance of sustainability.
Yeah.
But there's one more piece of the puzzle
Okay, what's that?
that the sources emphasize:
Yeah.
marketing and branding.
Ah, yes, you gotta get the word out.
The sources recommend aggressive marketing campaigns, both digital and traditional, to position Himachal Pradesh as a global tourism destination.
Make it stand out.
They even suggest branding it as the Switzerland of the East,
The Switzerland of the East. I like it.
capitalizing on its scenic beauty and diverse offerings.
It's catchy.
It's bold, ambitious, and memorable.
It gets the point across.
It's about creating a buzz,
Right.
generating excitement, and showcasing Himachal Pradesh's
Yeah.
unique selling points.
Right. What makes it special?
They have their own distinct charm, cultural heritage, and adventure opportunities that set them apart from other destinations.
Exactly. They need to highlight those differences.
Imagine seeing stunning visuals of snow-capped peaks, vibrant festivals, and serene monasteries in travel magazines and online platforms worldwide.
I can picture it now.
It's about capturing the attention
Yeah.
of travelers and enticing them to experience the magic of the Himalayas.
That's what it's all
And
about.
it's about crafting a compelling narrative.
Right. A story that people want to hear.
Himachal Pradesh isn't just a copy of Switzerland. It has its own story to tell. The sources emphasized highlighting these unique aspects in marketing campaigns to attract a diverse range of travelers.
Makes sense. Target different audience.
It's about creating a brand identity that resonates with those seeking authentic experiences, adventure, wellness, and cultural immersion.
That's a good mix.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground,
Oh, yeah.
from district-specific strategies to government support, sustainability, and global branding. It's clear that Himachal Pradesh has all the ingredients to become a world-class tourism destination.
They have the potential.
But as the sources point out, realizing this vision requires strategic planning,
Effective
governance,
sustain that.
and sustained investment.
That's a long-term commitment.
It's not just about having beautiful landscapes.
Right. It takes more than just pretty scenery.
It's about creating an entire ecosystem that supports sustainable and inclusive tourism growth.
That's the key.
And that's where things get even more interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
The sources lay out some incredibly ambitious projections for the next decade.
Sure, I love projections.
We're talking about increasing tourism revenue from 18,600 crore rupees to a whopping 45,000 crore rupees.
45,000 crore. That's more than double.
It's annual.
Annually.
Wow, that kind of growth would be transformative for Himachal Pradesh.
Transformative is an understatement.
And the sources go even further,
Okay, even further.
predicting that per capita income could nearly double to 4.5 to 5 lakh rupees, bringing Himachal closer to Swiss standards of living.
Those are some bold predictions.
Those numbers are astounding. But it's important to remember that these are projections
Right. Projections aren't guarantees.
based on implementing
Yeah.
the recommendations outlined in the sources.
They have to put in the work.
It's a call to action, not a guarantee.
A roadmap for
The
success.
sources are essentially saying, here's what's possible if you take these steps. It's up to the government, the private sector, and the people of Himachal Pradesh to make it happen.
It's a collective effort.
And speaking of making it happen, let's dive into some of those key steps in
Oh.
more detail.
Okay, let's get specific.
The sources outline several recommendations that are worth exploring further.
Okay, what are they?
They're really more like guiding principles for sustainable and successful tourism development.
I like the sound of that.
They highlight the importance of holistic planning, public-private partnerships, education and skill development, environmental sustainability, and of course, global branding.
It's all connected.
These are the pillars upon which Himachal Pradesh can build its tourism success story.
A solid foundation for growth.
So let's break those down one by one.
Okay, sounds good.
First up, holistic planning.
Holistic planning.
What does that entail?
So what are we talking about here?
It's about creating a long-term roadmap.
Okay, a 10-year plan.
10 years, that's long-term thinking.
As the sources suggest,
Yeah.
with clear milestones
Milestones are important.
for infrastructure development,
Yeah.
tourism initiatives, and sustainability goals.
So it's not just about building things.
It's about thinking ahead, anticipating challenges, and ensuring that all stakeholders are listening.
Right, everyone working together.
And I imagine
Yeah.
community involvement is crucial in this planning process. Absolutely. Got to involve the local community.
The sources emphasize
There.
involving local community
Yes.
in decision-making to foster ownership,
Ownership.
accountability.
That's how you get buy-in.
After all,
Yeah.
they're the ones who will be most impacted by tourism development.
Exactly. Their voices need to be heard.
Their voices need to be heard
Yeah.
and their concerns addressed.
And their concerns addressed.
Okay, next up we have public-private partnerships.
Public-private partnership.
Why are these so important?
So why do we need them?
Well, large-scale tourism projects require significant investment, something the government alone may not be able to provide.
Right, the government can't do it all.
By partnering with private companies. Himachal Pradesh can access necessary capital, expertise, and resources to develop world-class infrastructure and tourism experiences.
It's a win-win, right?
But I imagine there needs to be a balance between private investment and state oversight.
Oversight is important to ensure
That development aligns with Himachal Pradesh's long-term vision.
Right. Keep things on track.
The sources are clear about that. It's not about handing over control to private companies. It's about forming those strategic partnerships.
Strategic partnerships, I like it.
Where both parties work together to achieve those shared goals. The government needs to maintain oversight to ensure that development benefits all stakeholders
Benefits everyone.
and doesn't negatively impact the environment or local communities.
Absolutely. Got to protect those things.
That makes sense. Now let's talk about education and skill development.
Education and skill development.
Why do the sources emphasize this so much?
Yeah, why is that so important?
Because a thriving tourism industry requires a skilled workforce.
Of course, you need people who know what they're doing.
The sources recommend establishing training institutes that focus on hospitality, adventure sports, language skills, and even cultural sensitivity.
That's a good one, cultural sensitivity.
It's about equipping locals with the necessary skills to secure jobs in the tourism sector and ensuring that visitors have a positive and enriching experience.
A well-trained workforce.
And let's not forget about environmental sustainability.
Right, environmental sustainability.
This has been a recurring theme throughout our deep dive.
And for good reason.
Protecting Himachal Pradesh's natural beauty is paramount to its long-term tourism success.
Absolutely, protect what you've got.
The sources stress the importance of eco-friendly practices, sustainable infrastructure, and strict regulations.
Regulations are important
to prevent environmental damage.
to keep things in check.
It's about developing a tourism model that thrives in harmony with nature, not at its expense.
Sustainable tourism, that's the goal.
And finally, come back to
global branding.
Global branding.
The sources are quite adamant about the need for aggressive marketing campaigns to position Himachal Pradesh as a world-class destination.
You gotta get the word out. They need to capture the attention of travelers worldwide and entice them to experience the magic of the Himalayas.
That's the goal.
It's about creating a compelling narrative, showcasing stunning visuals, and using both digital and traditional marketing channels to reach a global audience.
Yeah, cover all the bases.
And let's not forget the power of that catchy tagline, the Switzerland of the East.
Switzerland of the East, it's memorable.
It's memorable, attention grabbing, and positions Himachal Pradesh as a worthy contender on the global tourism stage.
Exactly, it sets the bar high.
It's all about creating a buzz, generating excitement, and leaving a lasting impression on potential visitors.
That's what good marketing does.
Wow, we've really gone deep into this topic.
We have. It's been a journey.
From revenue projections to district-specific strategies, sustainability, and global branding. We've explored all the key elements of Himachal Pradesh's tourism potential.
You have a lot to offer.
And we've seen how learning from Switzerland's success can provide valuable insights for Himachal Pradesh.
Learn from the best.
It's about adapting successful models, recognizing unique strengths, and focusing on sustainable and inclusive growth.
That's the recipe for success.
It's a story of ambition, possibility, and the power of strategic vision.
A vision for the future.
But it's also a story that's still being written. The future of Himachal Pradesh's tourism industry rests on the decisions and actions taken today.
So it's up to them to make it happen.
And that's where you, our listener, come in.
Okay, what can you do?
What are your thoughts on Himachal Pradesh's potential? How can we ensure that tourism benefits both the economy and the people?
It's an important question.
We've got one more part to go in this deep dive, so stay tuned as we wrap things up with some final thoughts and key takeaways.
Okay, I'm ready for the grand finale.
Back to the final round. We've spent this episode unpacking how Himachal Pradesh can become a world-class tourism destination.
A worthy goal.
Even rivaling the success
of Switzerland.
The gold standard. Now it's time to synthesize all this information.
Bring it all together.
And see what we've learned.
And what are the key takeaways?
The sources paint a vivid picture of what's possible if Himachal Pradesh plays its cards right.
It's all about strategy.
Imagine a future where tourism revenue triples, per capita income skyrockets. Over 8 lakh new jobs are created.
That's a lot of jobs.
It's a vision of economic transformation and prosperity.
Prosperity for all.
Not just for the state, but for the people
Yeah,
who call it home.
that's what it's all about.
But as we've discussed, realizing this vision
Right.
requires a multifaceted approach.
Many moving parts.
It's not just about attracting tourists. It's about creating.
a tourism model that benefits everyone.
Everyone wins.
The environment and the economy.
The triple bottom line.
One key takeaway is the importance of a district-centric approach.
Each district has its own strengths.
Each region has its own unique strengths and potential, and the sources emphasize tailoring strategies to capitalize on those strengths. Don't try to be everything to everyone.
Think about the diversity. We've explored
So many different flavors.
Shimla's heritage charm, Manali's adventure offerings, Kangra's spiritual lure, and Lahal Spiti's untouched landscapes.
Each one unique.
Each district has a role to play in this grand vision.
A piece of the puzzle.
And it's not just about focusing on a single type of tourism.
Right, diversify.
The sources advocate
Right.
for a diverse portfolio: adventure, wellness, spiritual, cultural, even
A
agro-tourism,
dare for everyone.
attracting a wider range of travelers.
No.
Not only expands revenue stream,
More money, more opportunities.
but also distributes the economic benefits
Yeah.
across different regions and communities.
Spread the wealth.
It's about creating
Yeah.
a more balanced and inclusive tourism ecosystem.
Sustainable and equitable.
Yeah.
And underpinning all of this is the crucial role of the government.
The government sets the stage.
The
The
facility.
sources provide detailed recommendations for government interventions in each district,
Specific actions they can take,
from investing in infrastructure and promoting skill development
empowering the workforce,
to offering subsidies for eco-friendly projects
incentivizing sustainability.
and launching impactful marketing campaigns.
Get the word out.
It's about creating a supportive environment for tourism to flourish
Nurturing growth.
while ensuring that development remains sustainable and benefits the people of Himachal Pradesh.
Putting people first.
That requires careful consideration and collaboration
Working together.
between the government, the private sector, and local communities.
It's a team effort.
And speaking of local communities, we can't forget the importance of their involvement.
Their voices matter.
Throughout this process, the sources emphasize the need
Yeah.
to engage residents in planning and decision-making,
Give them a seat at the table.
to ensure their voices are heard, their concerns addressed.
And their interests protected.
It's about respect and collaboration.
It's about fostering a sense of ownership and shared responsibility
We're all in this together.
for the success of tourism. In Himachal Pradesh, making tourism work for everyone.
After all, it's their land, their culture, their heritage that will be showcased to the world.
Sharing their treasures with the world.
So, what can we take away from this deep dive?
What have we learned?
For me,
Yeah.
it's about recognizing the incredible potential that tourism holds for regions like Himachal Pradesh,
The possibilities are endless.
but also understanding the complexities and responsibilities that come with it.
It's not just fun and games.
It's about being informed travelers,
Do your search.
choosing destinations and experiences
Yeah.
that align with our values,
Support businesses that do the right thing.
and supporting businesses that prioritize sustainability and community well-being.
Making a positive impact.
It's about being mindful of our impact on the places we visit,
Tread lightly.
respecting local cultures, and contributing to the preservation of natural beauty.
Protecting our planet.
And it's about advocating for responsible tourism development
Speaking up for what's right.
that benefits both visitors and host communities.
A win-win for everyone.
Because ultimately, the goal is to create a tourism model that enriches lives, preserves heritage, and protects the environment for generations to come.
Leaving a legacy for the future.
That's a vision worth striving for.
A worthy goal.
And with strategic planning, collaborative efforts, and a commitment to sustainability, Himachal Pradesh can truly become a global tourism leader
Reaching for the stars.
while uplifting the lives of its people.
That's what it's all about.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Himachal Pradesh's tourism potential. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
Until next time.